Welcome to Paris and to what is quite possibly the most iconic man-made structure on planet Earth. The Eiffel Tower is obviously an absolute must visit and one of everyone's things to do when they come to Paris. But today I want to tell you some of the things that you might not know about it. The Eiffel Tower can be seen from all over Paris and it's easy to get to. It's in the French capital's 16th arrondissement and you can get here on the metro lines 6, 8 and 9, as well as plenty of bus stops. The Eiffel Tower is 324 meters tall, including the antenna. For 40 years after it was built, it was the tallest man-made structure in the world. It's made with 7,500 tons of iron, 18,000 different metallic parts, and 2.5 million rivets. And did you know that every single winter, the tower shrinks by 15 centimeters because of the cold weather? The type of iron that the tower is made from is called puddle iron. Puddling is a process which eliminates excess carbon while melting the ore, but it still needs to be protected from corrosion and rusting. To do this, the tower is repainted every 7 years and around 60 tons of paint are used each time. Once in 1900, it was even painted bright yellow. You probably know that the Eiffel Tower was constructed and opened to the public for the 1889 Exposition Universelle in Paris. 1889 was a significant year for France. It was the 100-year anniversary of the French Revolution, and it was a great chance for the country to show off the new innovations in industrial construction. It was completed in exactly 2 years, 2 months and 5 days, just in time for the World's Fair. You've also probably heard of the man who gave his name to the tower, the famous architect Gustave Eiffel. But did you know that the tower wasn't his original idea, rather 2 architects who worked for his company? However, once he took over the project, he really made it his own, making use of the ingenious metal structures that made him famous. As you walk around the tower and look up at just how imposing it is, it's hard to ignore the names that are carved into the iron. The 72 names represent French scientists, engineers and innovators from the 19th century. And it's only possible to see them today thanks to a restoration effort, because before they were covered up. It's ugly, it's useless, it looks like a factory chimney. Even the Americans wouldn't build something like this. It's hard to imagine it now, but these were just some of the criticisms that 19th century French high society had to say about the tower. Famous writer Guy de Maupassant even said that he used to have lunch in the restaurant in the tower, even though he didn't like the food, because it was the only place in Paris where he didn't have to see it. And you can sympathize with those who denounced the Eiffel Tower for its pointlessness. The original plan was to tear it down after 20 years. But Gustave Eiffel had a plan to give the tower a purpose beyond the World's Fair and to ensure its longevity for years to come. The tower was far more than just an ugly eyesore. Eiffel installed a radio telegraph transmitter inside, and it was crucial to the Allied victory at the First Battle of the Marne during the First World War. It thwarted the German advance by halting their radio communications, and in the end, the French government decided that it was far too useful to get rid of. Being one of the most famous things in the entire world, the Eiffel Tower is subject to many weird and unbelievable stories. For example, there are about 50 different imitations or replicas in as many places as you can imagine in the world, such as Las Vegas, China, Mexico, Russia and Romania. There are even replicas in 2 separate towns in the USA, both called Paris. Speaking of weird stories, did you know that in 2008 someone got married to the Eiffel Tower? Erica La Tour Eiffel, as she is now known, is an example of an objectum sexual, people who fall in love with inanimate objects. And the tower was also the site where an unfortunate inventor was killed by his own invention. Franz Reichelt designed a parachute coat, and after some successful experiments on dummies, he was determined to test his creation by jumping from the first floor of the Eiffel Tower. Unfortunately, on the 4th of February 1912, during his jump, his parachute failed to open and he plunged to his death. If you're coming to the French Riviera and want to find out more about the region's rich history and culture, why not take a tour with us? Visit www.rivierabarcrawltours.com and join us.